Welcome to our Ayurveda talk. I wanted to talk today a little bit about how the six tastes affect our emotions. And I'm bringing this up because I don't think people really connect. We're very physical, and we definitely can understand that, oh, if I eat a hot pepper, yes, it's going to increase my body temperature and make my body hot and make my tissues hot. Although I've had people that have come in for appointments and they go, oh, I didn't realize that. And so there are people that have not had any awareness of that as well. But I find it very interesting that certain tastes actually can lead to certain ways of being. And we can just make it very simply and say, when you're a Vata person, which is air and ether, when you have a lot of air, or think of the wind, think of a windy day, when you have a lot of movement going on in your body, what kind of emotions does that tend to bring up for you? Well, if you have too much movement over time, it would make you feel anxious. It's too much. I mean, we can only take so much movement. Otherwise, it would start to like rattle you and shake your brain. And it literally, that is what happens with Vata, as they start to experience that. And if you're a Pitta person where you run hot, you have fire element as your dominant element, then those individuals have heated type of emotions. And then the Kapha individual, which is water and earth, they're going to have more emotions that are more like depression and lethargy and melancholy. But I wanted to kind of be a little bit more specific tonight and talk about each taste. And remember, these tastes are a way for us to heal our body. The taste matters. This is why, like, I have a really good friend who is in this special program, and they are bringing in nutrition, and it's a really fantastic thing, and it's great. It's all healthy, great foods, but they don't consider the different tastes and how they impact us. And they don't consider how food lands on that cold, neutral, hot scale. And all of that matters because food is a way to heal ourselves. So if you are, I just want to like mention really quick that if you have something that's salty, that's going to make your body run hot. Okay. So if you're running cold, that might be okay. But if you run hot, then salty is hot. What's even hotter is sour taste. So foods that are sour, they're even hotter. And even hotter is pungent. So super spicy, pungent foods. That's even hotter. So if you're eating foods that are salty, sour, or pungent, then you are increasing heat in your tissues and then your emotions. And we're going to talk about the emotions here in a second. Now, if you are eating something that's sweet, sweet is going to cool down the body. But what's even colder is to eat foods that are astringent. And even colder than astringent is bitter. So if you're eating bitter foods, then it's really going to make your body cold. So if you're running really cold and you're eating a lot of bitters, that's not supporting you. Okay. And then let's say you are needing to dry out your body. You have swelling, you have fluids, then you can use the taste of astringent, which is going to dry you out. But even drier would be bitter taste. And then even drier than that would be pungent. So these tastes are doing a multitude of things. They're going to cool down your body. They're going to heat up your body. They're going to dry you out. They're going to add moisture. They're going to do lots of different things. Okay, now, if you are eating foods that are oily, sour taste is actually going to increase oil. And salty is even oilier. And then sweetest taste is the oiliest. So that's why in Ayurveda, when we're dealing with somebody who's really, really depleted, we always say ghee, because ghee is going to metabolize sweet and it's the oiliest. So it's going to bring in earth to that individual. Okay. All right. Now, if we talk about the different tastes, sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent, each one of those contribute to certain emotions. So sweet taste will increase desire. So let's say you don't have desire, you feel lost, then maybe bringing in some sweet taste would support you. I'm not saying sweets, I'm not saying sugar. I'm saying foods that metabolize sweet. Meat, actually, dark meat metabolizes sweet. And ghee metabolizes sweet. Dates metabolize sweet. There's lots of foods. They're a whole food list. Okay, now, if you have too much sweet, you are going to increase kapha in your body. And that can cause lethargy and things like that. So you just got to be careful. Now, sour taste, you get too much sour taste, it's going to lead to emotions of envy. Very interesting, isn't that? So I know a lot of people that deal with envy. You could say resentment, envy. Those are kind of similar. And so sour taste is the taste that increases that. So if you're dealing with those kinds of emotions where you're feeling envious or you're having resentment, then cut back on sour tastes. If you have too much sour, it's going to increase heat in your body, like I said, so that's going to increase the pitta dosha. Okay, salty. Okay, in our culture, things are pretty much either sweet or salty. What does salty taste lead to? I found this one very interesting. Greed. Totally. Don't you feel that when you eat something that's salty? You're like, I want more. 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 Totally. Salt does that. It makes you like want more. So it leads to greed. Like you become gluttonous. It's like the can of peanuts or the bowl of peanuts that are sitting there or pretzels, and you can't stop eating them. You're not hungry. You don't really want them, but you keep eating them. It's because that salty taste. So too much salt leads to greed. And the doshas that it's going to increase, salt, remember, increases heat. So it's going to increase, and oil, it's going to increase kapha and pitta. So if you have high kapha, excess kapha dosha, excess pitta dosha, you got to back off on salt, no salty foods. And then it's going to help you lessen that like insatiable appetite and the greed. Okay, pungent. Pungent leads to, this one's easy, anger. So if you are noticing you are irritable, you are getting angry, you are frustrated, then you got to back off on all your spicy hot foods. You just got to. So no more spicy hot foods. Get them out of your diet and start cooling yourself down. Cilantro juice, aloe vera juice, those kinds of things will be much better and support you. And obviously, anger, heat is going to lead to an excess of pitta dosha. So if you're dealing with anger, that means you have high pitta and you need to balance that out. Okay. All right. Now, bitter taste leads to too much bitter. And by the way, bitter taste, according to Ayurveda, in the West is the most taste that we don't eat the most. We need it, but we don't tend to eat it. So a lot of people, I need to encourage more bitter taste. But if you do get an excess of bitter taste, it will lead to grief. It leads to grief. And it increases vata, air and ether. So if you're already grieving, then you're going to stay away from the bitter foods. If you're already dealing with something that's heavy on your heart, you're just going to just know, okay, I need to nourish. I need sweet taste. I need to support myself. Okay, you're not going to do bitter foods. All right, astringent foods will lead to, so too much astringent, and that's people who drink a lot of coffee and those kinds of things, they got to look at this, leads to fear. And there's lots of fear all over the place. Even all the people who do not think that they're motivated by fear, if you really take a look at your life, there's so much fear. There's so much fear. It's fear in the news, fear from it. Like older people tend to like watch the TV. They're afraid all the time. Vata people get scared. It's going to increase Vata. So if you have too much astringent food, it's going to increase Vata and lead to fear. So if you're dealing with fear, panic attacks, anxiety, then no more bitter, no more astringent. You got to stop those. Okay. So they are super interesting, and there's lots and lots of emotional stuff that go on with it. And if you are dealing with kapha or the sweet taste, it will increase kapha, but it is also really, really great for supporting vata. It's really great. Sour taste, the mental effect of sour taste, this is just a little more addedness, is giddiness and anger, impatience, hot-tempered, like I told you. Salty taste is just from another list that I have here. Salty taste leads to anger, impatience, and also lethargy. Because remember, salty is going to increase the pitta and the kapha, not just pitta, whereas sour is just increasing pitta. Pungent taste is going to increase anger and impatience. Wow, there's a lot of things that increase anger. So we need to like really settle down on what we're doing and how we're eating and supporting ourselves. Bitter taste will increase. The mental effect of it is anxiety, fear, and then insomnia. So that's not good. If you're not sleeping at night, you really need to watch the bitter foods. And then also astringent increases vata, by the way, the bitter and the astringent, like I said, increases vata, leads to worry, fear, anxiety, and again, insomnia. Insomnia is typically a vata issue. If you can't fall asleep at night, that's usually pitta. But if you fall asleep and then you wake up in the night, that's vata. So if you have insomnia and it's a regular thing, you've got some vata going on, we need to calm your nervous system. Okay. I find this very interesting that we can actually take a look at our emotions. This is why I really encourage my clients, journal. If you journal every day, and I'm not saying write down your life, oh my God, I went and did this and I walked to the park, and no, but you want to journal things that I did this and this happened. I noticed that when I ate this, I had this effect, like a noticeable effect. You want to connect those things so that you start noticing the subtle things that you do in your life that do not support you or that do support you. Hey, I had a great night of sleep. What did I do last night? Oh, I went to bed early. I went to bed when it was dark. Wow, it's aligning yourself with the sun and the moon cycle and circadian rhythms. So it's really important to pay attention to how your life is moving. Is it supporting you? Everything you do matters in Ayurveda. Everything you do. So if you journal, it really helps give you a lot of information. Okay, so reach out to me if you have any questions on those 6 tastes and the different emotions that they can increase. And some of them are positive, some of them aren't. And it's all on the individual. That's why Ayurveda is individualized. It is not trendy and it is not a group thing. Okay. All right. Let's get started with our practice.